Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today, we have a massive project that we are going to be undertaking. And this project is so big that it took me about 40 hours of work in order to get the resources together, to get the site prepared, and then to actually do the building as well. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of project would be that big and require that much work? Well, we're going to be doing a little villager trading hall. And actually, it's not going to be little, it's going to be massive because we want to have enough room to have all of the villagers, to get all of the trades, so that we can get all of the things from them that we could possibly want. So we don't have time to just sit around and wait. Let's go ahead and get this episode started. While I was out getting deep slate, I did come across quite a few diamonds, and I decided to include a little clip of all of the diamonds that I found because it's just really satisfying to collect diamonds. So here are all the diamonds that I found. There was actually a little over a stack and a half in total, so that was pretty good. We are pretty set for diamonds now after having lost a lot. While I was getting the diamonds, I did get 2 double chests full of cobbled deep slate as well as some tuft. And then I also ended up with a lot of other resources, mostly redstone, but some lapis. So you can see here the diamonds that we got is a little bit more than a stack and a half, which was really good. So we're going to take those. We're also going to get the rest of these resources as well because those are going to go up into our storage system. But we are going to use all of that deep slate for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep because it's night, and then we're going to start. We are going to build a trading hall into the mountain where our enchantment setup is. And actually, it's going to go into the face of the mountain right behind me. So in order to do that, it's going to take a lot of digging. And unfortunately, we don't have a beacon to make it go faster. But what we do have are 4 pickaxes that have efficiency 5 and mending. So not only will I be able to dig out the stone quickly, I will also be able to mend the pickaxes, and that will save me from having to constantly be making new ones. So let's go ahead and get started with the digging. With this project, what we are going to be doing is digging out a space that is 70 blocks long, 41 blocks wide, and 26 blocks deep. So that comes out to about a total of 75,000 blocks if it was completely solid. As you'll see as we dig out this space, there is actually a large cavern that we dig into, so it ended up only being about 60,000 blocks, but it's still a lot of blocks to dig out. And what I like to do is to dig out that first layer just to see what I'm going to be working with. And as you can see there's the cavern that I was mentioning. It ended up taking out a big chunk of blocks, so it saved us a little bit of time in digging it all the way through. But with that first layer completely done, let's go ahead and take a look at what we are working with. I've dug out the first 2 layers of the 26 that need to be dug out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this cavern that I came across because it is a massive cavern. I think this is one of the things I like most about the Caves and Cliffs update because when you look at it, you just come across these massive caverns. Just look how far down this is. It's so far down. These are huge. And I think it's just amazing that they have these in the game now compared to what used to be the caves. And you can just look down and imagine what could be down there. This is a place that we're going to definitely need to explore in the future. But having it here is going to save us a lot of time. As you can see, it takes out a big chunk of space that we would have to otherwise dig out. And then this is the area that we are working with. It's a total of 70 blocks long and then 41 blocks wide. And then we're going to go down 26 layers. So I think that the best way to do this is to do a time lapse of the full digging. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So many hours have passed in digging out that space. I mean, I think it took about 15 hours in total just to dig them all out. And even though I knew that it was going to be a lot of blocks, I didn't quite realize how long it was going to take. The good news is we have finished all of the digging. So it's now time to start with the building. But before we get into the building, let's go ahead and take a look at the area that we're going to be working with. In here is the entryway, and there's going to be a staircase that comes down eventually. And then what it's going to do is come over here and open up into the main room. And if we drop down, we go down here, these are just some temporary blocks. Come down here, you can see just how big of a space this is. I mean, look it up. The whole ceiling is dark because of how it is. And then I've lit up the area around it. If we go over here to where the cavern is, it still goes down even further. Even though we've dropped down 26 layers, it's not even close to reaching the bottom of that cavern. And then there are some other caves that we came across right here and then up there as well. And I don't think that there should be any mobs dropping down. Hopefully that wouldn't be good. But in this area is what we are going to be working with in getting the project built. And it's going to go up mostly to the ceiling and fill in the whole space in between. So it's a lot of building. Let's go ahead and get started with that building right now. Here we are. We have finished the building, and I am so excited that it is finally done because it took forever to do. And it's just amazing how much work went into this. All right, but here we are in the entryway. I've got it all finished up, and as you can see, we've got these stairs that lead down here into this area, and then it comes right out and opens up into the hall. And you see this light right here. I'm really happy with how those turned out. And then we've got these arches going across. So if we go over here, you can see I've added in some detail with some nether bricks into the wall right here, and then it just kind of matches up with the pillars that we've got in there as well. And then over here, we've got some of the sculk blocks up on the ceiling with some black concrete in the middle there. And then eventually what I'm going to do is have some water elevators there. But right now, it's just the scaffolding blocks. And then if we come into the main hall, you can see right up on the ceiling, the sculk blocks that are just flashing. And this is why I have the shaders on right now, so you can see them here. And then we've got more of these lights. And I wasn't really intending to have any lights in the middle of the hall, but then I decided while I was building that I needed something here. And these were just really great in tying the whole place together. So I'm happy with how those turned out. And then behind me, you can see we've got the gallery up above where you come down. And then we've got these as well. So eventually what we're going to do is have villagers in all of these spots. And that's where we're going to be able to do the trading. And then up above, there are more spots that we'll be able to have villagers to go to be able to trade with them. And you might be wondering, well, how are we going to get to the ones up there? What I'm going to do is build hallways behind, and then I'm going to use the hallways to access the villagers. So that way there's nothing blocking the ceiling, because I didn't want to have this detail to be hidden by a platform in the middle. And so I'm going to build those hallways later. And then down at the end, I have warp blocks that I use to bring the turquoise color into the wall, and that ties it in with the pillars. And then as in the ceiling, there is some more of the sculk blocks. But that is the hall. I'm really excited with how this turned out because it's just, the colors are really good, go well together. I like the turquoise and the gray from the deep slate. And then there's going to just be so much room to have villagers. I mean, we're going to have villagers in all of these spots. It's going to be great. There's going to be a lot of trading to do in the future, and we're going to get a lot of good stuff from the villagers. And then these areas, I'm just going to fill in with some water columns to be able to get up and down a lot easier. But that's the villager trading hall. And this light right here, I'm so happy with all of it. It just turned out so well. Excited to be coming back down here more often in the future. But that is where we are going to wrap up today's episode. I am really excited that this project is done. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and there's still so much more work that we're going to be doing in the coming episodes to get the villagers all put into place and the trades set up. We also need to be able to do some things to have the resources to trade with the villagers, like pumpkins and melons and all of the other different things that they will be able to trade with us. But those are all going to be coming in future episodes, and you're not going to want to miss them. So be sure to subscribe, and you'll be able to get the notification when the next episode comes out. But until the next episode, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great having you, and until then, see you later.